I got some great news, guys. This episode's sponsored by Brian Tooley Racing. If you don't know who Brian Tooley Racing is, they're your one-stop shop for LSX parts. Make sure you check out their link below for all your LSX parts needs.
Voices in my head know me, call me. I will be restless. Somehow they chose me. This is my nightlife. Wanna be high life. I feel so reckless, calling them all night.
So, as you see in front of me, we have a whole bunch of parts here. I'll walk you through what I got and why I got it, and where we're going to go from this build. I'll also give you a price total at the end of this video to show you where we're at in this build and how affordable it actually is to build an LS. Regardless if Brian Tooley would have sponsored me with these parts, these are the parts that I probably would have chosen and bought myself. And for a budget LS build, these are pretty much the essentials that you're going to need in order to make use of that stock bottom end that you do have. So the plan the entire time was to run the factory bottom end and then put a bit of money into the headwork, because the more you can flow through those heads, the more use you're going to make out of the stock bottom end. And if you're thinking long term like I am, you're going to put this money into the heads once, and if you grenade a stock bottom end, you can just transfer over all the parts that you put into your heads onto the new block and blow it up again. Got her. So I have the stage 3 camshaft kit here, and what it's going to include is going to include your stage 3 camshaft. It's going to include your dual valve springs, all the necessary stuff to install those valve springs, and a set of push rods. On top of that, we also have a Trunnion Kit, Ls9 Head Gaskets, and then the front and rear gaskets as well. So to stuff this hole full, we're going to be using this. This is their stage 3 camshaft, and depending on your application, the stage 3 might be a little bit too much for your engine. If your car's a bit heavier and you're using like a turbo 400 transmission, you might want to go with something like a stage 2, but where we're going to be using a slightly bigger turbo and a slightly smaller chassis and a power glide, Brian Tooley Racing actually recommended the stage 3 cam. So all Brian Tooley turbo camshafts started off the real world as a custom application. And after enough real world testing, they became a regular stock item. So obviously when I told them it's going to be in this style chassis with this turbo and this transmission, they knew exactly what to give me. Alright, so as much as you just want to take the cam and throw it in your engine and run it like that, you're not going to be able to do it because it has much more lift and the factory beehive springs aren't going to be able to keep up. That's where these things come into play. This is the Brian Tooley Racing Platinum Spring Kit. What it's going to do is it's going to prevent valve float, and you're not going to want valve float because at 6,500 RPMs, if your valves stay open and your pistons are at top dead center, they're going to kiss.
Just like that.
Included in this kit are going to be your 2 valve springs. They're also going to give you some new valve seals because it's not going to work with the factory ones. You're also going to get the spring seats, the titanium retainers, and the little valve locks. It's probably a worthwhile upgrade if you're going to rev your stock motor any more than the stock RPM on the stock camshaft anyways, and it's only $230. To put that in comparison, a dual valve spring kit for something like a Supra, something like this, is probably in like the $600 or $700 range. So what I'm trying to tell you is that LSX stuff is really cheap, and the fact that you can get it all in one place, in one kit, for one price, makes it even easier. Now to finish off the actual cam kit, which is going to be the camshaft, the push rods, and the springs, are the push rods. It's one thing that's often overlooked, but something that could really screw you up. The factory push rods, they're just not ready to handle that extra lift and spring pressure. So what we have here are a set of chromoly stock replacement push rods, which are actually the same length, but you can actually feel the weight difference in them. And this one's just built a little bit beefier. For those of you guys who watch Taylor Ray's videos, you're already going to know what the Trunnion Kit is. But for those of you who don't, the Trunnion Kit essentially gets rid of the needle style roller bearings in these rockers. The rockers themselves aren't going to be a weak point in this setup. However, the needle bearings inside the rockers do tend to just get out of here a little bit. It's just gonna replace the factory style needle bearings inside those rockers with a much better, beefier setup. It also includes some better, beefier bolts. If you're not gonna do the camshaft spring and push rod upgrade, I definitely recommend doing the Trunnion Kit upgrade at least for your stock camshaft, just so you don't have some sort of catastrophic failure with one of your rockers. Next on this list is a Btr Ls9 Head Gasket. Now the bore spacing in an LS9 is actually bigger than what it's going to be in your 5.3. However, this is the one that was recommended to me, and this is the one that a lot of 5.3 guys use. It is multi-layered, a lot of multi-layers, but it is labeled Brian Tooley Racing LS9 Head Gasket. And now here's the thing. Brian Tooley Racing actually gets their head gaskets made by the same guys who make the OEM GM head gaskets. So this is going to be the same as your LS9 head gasket. It's just rebranded as Brian Tooley. It's been tested over 1,000 horsepower. They use the LS9 head gaskets in that World Fastest 5.3 video that I posted earlier. They also provide us with the front and rear seals. And these things are produced stateside and tested to well over 1,000 horsepower also. Alright, so I know I named the series Budget Turbo LS Build, and this is definitely the way that I would do it on my budget. However, some people's budgets aren't going to be the same as mine. You don't have to upgrade the camshaft, you don't have to upgrade the springs, you don't have to upgrade any of that. You could just run your stock block, new rings with boost, and still make power. However, the way I'm doing it is I'm thinking about it in sort of the long term. I'm actually preparing to wreck a couple of blocks and still be able to reuse my camshaft, my push rods, my springs, all that stuff in my new blocks. We're known to push the envelope a little bit on the stock bottom end. My factory supermotor, it made 715 wheel horsepower through an automatic transmission on the stock bottom end. And we're just kind of playing with failure all the time around here. So that's gonna be my plan of attack. We chose a stage 3 cam for our application. We're also gonna do the push rods, the Trunnion Kit, the springs. We're also gonna do the LS9 head gaskets. We're gonna get some ARP head bolts and not studs. We're also gonna get some rod bolts because I've re-stretched these ones again and I don't feel comfortable doing that. But to break down the prices on all of this stuff, it's really, really affordable. I don't want to ramble on to you guys too much, but if you're looking to make cheap power, the LSX way is definitely the way to go. My approach to this is we have an aluminum L33 block here that we have about $900 into between the new rings and the new cam bearings, the machine work, and the block itself that we paid for. Over there on the table, we have about $1,000 to $1,200 worth of parts. Your Btr cam kit is going to cost you around $670, I think it's listed on the site. The Trunnion kit is going to cost you another $130, I believe it is on the site. All the prices are going to be down below in the description. So between the block we have here and what we have sitting on the table is about $2,000. And you might say that's a lot for a motor. You don't need all of it. What I'm saying is this is definitely the best way to build your budget 5.3 bottom end for around $2,000, and then you're gonna need like your little turbo kit or whatever, but this is how you make reliably 800 horsepower all day. However, you could definitely make more on less. This is just the way to do it reliably and safely all day. Beat on it, put it in the trailer, come home, drive it on the street. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I just had to announce that I'm partnering up with Brian Tooley Racing to get this LS build out, get more episodes to you guys, and to get this finally in a car. All the links for Brian Tooley Racing, if you want to check out their camshaft kits or anything else listed in this video, it's going to be down below. The LSX engine is definitely a good place to start if you want to make moderate horsepower for a moderate price. I have to ask you guys this in a serious manner. How do you guys feel about the LSX engine going into Kent's Mustang just for this year to see how it's going to work out? If you guys do follow my Facebook page, Boosted Lifestyle, you guys know that we did have a mishap with the engine builder for the mod motor. He kind of screwed us all over, ring gaps were horrible, a bunch of other things that I'm going to be making a video on and explaining to you guys. It's going to be very factual, very professional. But how do you guys feel about the LS going in the mock for this year to get Kent Racing? Because I would love to see that, and I don't know about you guys, but I would rather see Kent Racing than myself racing this year since I got to race all last season. So make sure you guys stay tuned. I'm really sorry that I've been slow assembling this motor. I didn't want to do it twice. I didn't want to mess it up. And we're going to start putting parts into it. Peace easy, guys.